Hey, y'all. Have you ever split tested your emails? What does that even mean? And what are you supposed to split test? And then what do you do with the data that you get out of it? Let's talk about 12 different things that you can split test in your emails to help you get to know your audience a little bit better, to help improve your open rates and your click-through rates, and to improve your overall experience that your audience has with your emails. All right, let's get started. Number one is the time of day when your audience is most likely to open your emails. Now, that means that you have to send these different emails at different times of the day, right? And a lot of that depends on where your audience is located. If you know that, and you primarily focus on people in a certain country, consider a morning and an afternoon, or an afternoon and an evening, to figure out when they're online and when are they most likely to open your emails. Number two is the length of your emails. Do you have folks on your subscribers more likely to read a short email or a long email? Are they more likely to engage with an email that has a story in it? And the answer there is usually yes, but not if the story is really, really long, right? So figure out, does your audience like short and to the point, or do they like longer form email that has more of a story, that is more engaging, that has, just more meat to it? The only way to know is to test. Number three, images versus no images, images versus animated GIFs, and animated GIFs versus no images, I guess, if you take that route. So images can affect the load time of your email and the deliverability of your email, but they can also have a really positive impact on how your audience perceives and looks forward to your emails. I have a friend who, in almost every single one of her emails, she uses funny GIFs. And I enjoy reading her emails because of those GIFs. I look forward to seeing the ones that she uses. So think about your audience, think about your brand and your brand voice. And if it feels right, consider using animated GIFs. Here's a tip. The way to use an animated GIF is just an image file. So don't overthink it. You just download it like an image and upload it into your media library in your email platform like an image. It took me a long time to figure that out. All right, number four is the number of links that you have in your emails, because the number of links you have can also affect your deliverability. So it's good to know kind of where that threshold is. Basically, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to take that next step towards you, but you don't want to feel pushy, right? And you don't want to give them too many different links, or they're not going to know what you want them to do next, right? So I usually have whatever my primary call to action is in an email. I usually have it linked, usually in a button or an image, at least twice, and then maybe again in a PS. Right? So they never have to look too far to find the link that I'm hoping that they'll click on. Number five, and this is really a big one, subject lines. Test the heck out of your subject lines. Look at your own inbox and see which subject lines catch your eye. Is it ones that are short? Is it ones that are longer? Is it ones that have emojis? Is it ones that, they use your name, right? There's a lot of different things that can affect you and how much you want to open an email. And so pay attention to that. Look for those patterns in your own behavior, and then start testing those patterns in your subscribers' behavior as well. I mentioned this a second ago, but number six is use of emojis. I love emojis. And I think emojis can make a big impact and can really help your email stand out. Because think about it, in your email box, everything is black and white unless you have some cool setting that I don't have. If you have even just a little bitty emoji in your subject line, it's going to make your subject line look different. And that may be all you need to get somebody to take a look at your email and open it and click through and buy your products or whatever it is you're asking them to do. Number seven is the copy itself. Even tweaking like little words and phrases can have a huge impact on how your copy is consumed and how it's how it's related to, or how much it resonates with someone. So don't be afraid to tweak and change little things. Little things can make a big difference. Number 8 is layout. Does your audience like colorful, like graphics-based layout? Think about like emails that you get from Old Navy or whatever. Maybe you don't get them, but I do. And they're all very graphics heavy. A lot of e-com emails do tend to be graphics heavy, but they catch your eye, right? Or do your folks really prefer, more text? Do you anticipate that they are and a lot of that depends on what they're looking for out of your emails, right? But you may do better with a plain text email. And I say that with the quotes, because in a plain text email, you don't even get active links. So most of what we see that looks plain text is still HTML email, but that's a topic for another YouTube video. I'll make a note of that. Personalization and dynamic content. So if your email platform does personalization, that's requirement number 1. Requirement number 2 is if you have the data to access to personalize your emails, this is such a good way to help your emails stand out in the inbox and to help your subscriber, make them more likely to take that next step, because it feels more like a personal email, right? Like if you say my name, there's a saying, I don't know to whom to credit it, but that the sweetest sound is the sound of your own name. And it goes for reading your own name too. So if you use my name in an email, I'm much more likely to feel a connection with you. But that means you have to collect my first name to be in an opt-in form, or however you got my information, to be able to use it. So, and that's probably another YouTube video too, but that's an important aspect of it. If you use a platform that allows for dynamic content, that's also a really powerful way to personalize an email so that the person feels like you know exactly who they are and what they've bought from you or what they're interested in, or whatever. So personalization, huge, but test it, see what works, see what maybe doesn't work. Number 10 is resends. So people have different feelings about this. I like resending emails when the email has a really strong call to action and a very, I don't want to say important message, but it has a message that I feel like people really need to hear. So try resending your emails to folks who have not already opened your emails and see if it should improve your open rates and your click-through rates just because of math, right? But it can also annoy people. So be careful and keep an eye on your unsubscribe rate as well. Again, that's why we only send resends to people who have not opened the email yet. But it's something to try with your list. Are they going to appreciate that step, or is it going to annoy them and they're going to bail? It's something to split test. Number 11, the PS, the postscript. The PS can be a really, really powerful way to introduce calls to action to your audience that don't feel really pushy, right? But I've also seen in some of my client accounts where even just having a PS will push the email to the promotion tab instead of the inbox. I have no idea why, but be sure you test it before you start slapping a PS on everything, right? And finally, number 12 is the from name. Now, usually when we send a personal email, it says like our first and last name, right? But consider when you're in an email platform, you have the ability to change this, and you can change it with every email. So consider using just your first name. So I might try from Lynley versus from Lynley Hipps. Or consider integrating your business name or your brand name into that, into your from name. So Lynley at L Square Digital Media, or Lynley the email queen, right? Like, what is going to catch their attention? What is going to make it memorable for them? I follow someone who I'm pretty sure he uses a different from name in every single email he writes to his list each week. Every single one. And there's some crazy ones that make me go, who in the heck is this from? But it catches my attention. So if you are interested in split testing with emails, most, I don't want to say all, but most of your email marketing platforms have that functionality built in. So definitely take advantage of it, and look at your numbers. And there are a lot of other aspects to split testing that we can talk about in another video, but remember that sometimes you need to test things multiple times to make sure that things aren't like one result isn't a fluke, right? So always, they say, you know, always be closing, but always be testing, always be split testing something in every email that you send, and then collecting that data in a way that you can go back and look at it and say, well, I'm noticing that when we have this kind of image or we have this kind of call to action, we're getting much lower open rates or much lower click-through rates. That is the kind of pattern that you want to look at so you can pivot, change course, change the way you do things, and get the information that you have and the products and services you have to the people who need them most. Okay, let me know what questions you have about email marketing in the comments, and I'll see you later. Bye.